Weeks of endless analysis and building anticipation. We are now just moments away from the start of the college football playoff inside Etienne Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers arrive, trying to take another step toward their second national championship in 3 years. It has been 30 years since Notre Dame won it all. Brian Kelly and the Fighting Irish will have a chance to play for the school's 9th national title if they can pull off an upset win today. Welcome everyone to the College Football Playoff Semifinal at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. It's the first of today's two semifinals. And this game is the first matchup between two undefeated teams in the 5-year history of the college football playoff. Number 2 Clemson 13-0 against number 3 Notre Dame, the Irish 12-0. And as we look at the college football playoff bracket, brought to you by AT&T, tonight at the Capital One Orange Bowl, the defending national champs, number 1 seed Alabama, taking on Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray and the Big 12 champions, the Oklahoma Sooners. Hi everybody and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. Delighted to have you with us as we begin one of the great days of the year on the American sports calendar. It seems like we've waited a long time for this. We just saw the bracket, a very attractive field, 3 undefeated teams. That's the most in the 5-year history of this event. And most of the odds makers, most of the analysts really like the chances of the 2 big favorites, the top 2 seeds, Alabama and Clemson. Alabama, the biggest favorite in the history of the playoff, 2 touchdowns. Clemson also a double-digit favorite today in our game. How do you like the underdog chances today?
Well, I'm always an optimist, so I think all 4 teams could win. Certainly the underdogs have a smaller margin for error, but they've got certain key ingredients. In our game, this veteran Notre Dame defense will be the best unit that Clemson has seen all season. And the game tonight, that Kyler Murray-led Oklahoma offense is unbelievable. They will challenge that Alabama defense.
Oklahoma was the only team that did not have a returning starter of the 4 coming into this year. And as you might expect, all 4 of these teams have had outstanding quarterback play this season. The other 3 teams in this playoff had returning starters at quarterback, all of whom have been big winners, ultra successful. And all 3 of these teams, Todd, made changes at quarterback. Alabama, before the year began, went to Tua Tagovailoa. Ian Book in week 4 took over from Brandon Wimbush, and Trevor Lawrence of Clemson replaced Kelly Bryant. In all 3 cases, they wanted more production out of the passing game, and it happened.
Yeah, they got it in both cases. Trevor Lawrence, great maturity from day 1 on campus. He has a special arm. In fact, when we talked to some of the Notre Dame players, they said some quarterbacks are game managers. This guy's a game changer, and so is Ian Book. When Ian Book took over in the Wake Forest game, he dramatically impacted the Notre Dame offense. Very accurate, 70% completion guy, and a slippery runner, and I think his running ability will be important tonight for Notre Dame.
Speaking of running ability, another similarity between these 2 teams, each has a home run hitter at the running back position.
Yeah, fun guys to watch. And sophomore Travis Etienne for Clemson, it's a lot of bang for your buck. This is a guy who ran for over 1,400 yards, a school record 21 touchdowns, but he only averaged carrying the ball 13 times a game. He's fresh all the way to the end of the football game. He's even stronger than he was a year ago, so he can break tackles, and that makes him even more dangerous to go for the goal line every time he touches it. Dexter Williams, he's the home run hitter for Notre Dame. Had to sit out the first 4 games for a suspension, but when he came back, he hit the ground running. He never looked back. He never slowed down. And his addition to the Notre Dame offense, just as important as Ian Book at quarterback.
They were lacking a big playmaker in the run game. Williams, 117.5 per game and 12 rushing touchdowns in those 8 games. He'll go over 1,000 yards for the season today in all likelihood. Notre Dame, the first independent team to make the playoff in the 5-year history of the CFP. They are the 10th different team to make an appearance in the playoff. Brian Kelly says this is the best team I've ever coached.
It's a different team and a much more prepared team to play in a game like this.
Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson Tigers getting ready to take the field as Clemson makes its 4th straight appearance in the college football playoff. The ACC champions for the 4th year in a row. They won it all 2 years ago in a pulsating national championship win in Tampa against Alabama. Today we have two of the great sports reporters in the country. On the Notre Dame sideline, here's Tom Rinaldi.
Sean, thank you very much, Brian. So much focus on Dexter Lawrence being out for this game. How do you best take advantage of it right away on the offensive side?
Well, I don't know if there's going to be a huge advantage there. He's a really good football player, but we've got to run what we were going to run. We've got to balance things up. We're going to move the football on the perimeter a lot, and they've got really good football players across the board. So this is going to be a one-man show.
Appreciate it. Good luck, Brian. Let's go across to Holly Rowe.
Coach is too busy taking pictures with fans right now. We're going to try to corral him. Coach, last year in this semifinal, your only loss in 4 years, you said some of the guys didn't have the eye of the tiger. What did you see in that locker room right now and as they ran out onto this field? Do they have it?
Oh, no question. These guys are ready to play. But your opponent has something to do with it, too. These guys are a great team. We're getting ready to take on over here. But we're excited. This is what it's all about. Worked all year for this moment. Now you just got to play and dominate this moment.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Sean, back to you.
All right, Holly, thank you. Fourth meeting all time between Clemson and Notre Dame. The last one was a classic, October of 2015 at Clemson. The Tigers held on for a 2-point win. And the playoff is underway. Fink about 3 yards deep will take a knee. And let's meet the Notre Dame quarterback.
Ian Book, 6-foot junior, El Dorado Hills, California.
That's a suburb of Sacramento. Academically a junior, but in terms of football eligibility, he is a redshirt sophomore, and he has been a big difference maker.
You know, he was a talented point guard in basketball in high school, and you can see that in how he plays quarterback. He distributes the football with accuracy and timing.
Fourth most accurate quarterback in the country in the regular season. Here's Dexter Williams, and a great start for Notre Dame. An 11-yard run. Kendall Joseph, a linebacker, with the tackle for the Tigers.
Right away, you see how Clemson likes to play defense. They're going to blitz linebackers. That time, Trey Lamar, the middle linebacker, ran right by Dexter Williams in the backfield.
Book, a short set. We expect a lot of quick throws to slow down the Clemson rush. The completion to Alize Mack. Here are the impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A, and there was a flag on the play for a false start against Notre Dame. Williams with Miles Boykin, their leading receiver for the Notre Dame offense. Christian Wilkins, 3-time All-American, the leader of the team at Clemson, and Cleland Ferrell, the defensive player of the year in the ACC, a great defensive end. He'll be a high first-round pick.
Well, this team can really pressure the passer. Ian Book has to deliver the ball quickly in the passing game.
Williams again trying to run left. Looked like the ball was sliding around. Notre Dame has lost only 3 fumbles all year. That would be the fewest in a season if it stays that way for the Irish. The previous mark is 4.
Well, that was Albert Huggins, the guy that we talked about that's in there for Dexter Lawrence. And the ball does come out before he hits the ground, and fortunately it goes right back to Dexter Williams.
Some early luck of the Irish. So the penalty hurt Notre Dame. 2nd and 15. Book is a slippery runner, to use Dabo Sweeney's word. Trayvon Mullen, a cornerback, chopped him down at the 36. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
That was a design quarterback draw. That was not a scramble, but again, his ability to leave the pocket and create positive yardage, it keeps the defense honest, particularly one that likes to rush the passer as well as Clemson. This is the situation Notre Dame wants to avoid as much as possible, though. 3rd and 10 against this pass rush.
It's a blitz-happy team, even with the great defensive front. Brent Venables, the coordinator, likes to bring extra rushers. Book lobs one, and it's dropped by Chase Claypool. He was right at the line to make and could not hang on.
That was just a case, Sean, where Claypool was concerned about where his feet were, where the first yardage marker was, and just lost his concentration. It's a soft, catchable pass, and Claypool just lost concentration, concerned about his feet, and they have to punt the football.
So here's the senior, Tyler Newsome. From the city of dreams, he told us, Carrollton, Georgia, and living his dream today. One of the Irish captains hangs it up high, and Amari Rogers calls for a fair catch. Newsom told us his goal was to hit it high, at least 45 yards, and no return, and that one was 51. Here's Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, 6'5" freshman quarterback from Cartersville, Georgia.
Trevor Lawrence just puts so much pressure on a defense because his arm is an NFL caliber arm right now. He can make the ball go where he wants it to go accurately anywhere on the field. So there's no weak spots in terms of defending him as a passer.
Broke Deshaun Watson's Clemson freshman records, fellow Georgian. One of the great players in the country. He gives it to Travis Etienne, the speedster, stuffed after a 1-yard gain. Khalid Kareem, Tavon Coney among those in on the tackle. On this side of the ball, the Chick-fil-A impact players. T. Higgins has emerged, particularly in the red zone, Todd. Jerry Tillery also likely to be a first-round pick on the Notre Dame defensive line. Julian Love, one of the best corners in the country. One of the finalists, 3 of them, for the Thorpe Award, best defensive back, won by DeAndre Baker of Georgia. The Notre Dame blitz on 2nd and 9. Lawrence got away and nearly completed it. Tried to get it to Garrett Williams, fullback, H-back, tight end, and it's incomplete.
Well, Clemson went with an empty backfield, so there's only a certain number of guys, 5, that can pressure. Notre Dame brought 6. Julian Okwara there to force the scramble. Drew Tranquil also coming on the blitz. And a 3rd down and long situation. And this defensive line for Notre Dame is outstanding. The other one, Clemson, gets a lot of notoriety. This one's good.
Dabo Swinney said it's the best defense we will have faced this year. They have talent at all 3 levels of the defense. 3rd and 9 for Clemson. Time for Trevor Lawrence, and on target for T. Higgins. Clemson fans thought he was being held by Troy Pride. There is no flag, and it'll be a Tigers punt.
And that is a huge confidence builder for Troy Pride. Because Julian Love is so good, teams pick on Troy Pride. In his last game against USC, they went after him right away early, and that's a confidence boost to make a defensive play on the first throw his way on a 3rd down.
So here's Will Spires to punt. Chris Fink back for it. And not a good kick. A little off the side of his foot and short.
Well, and again, if there's an edge that Notre Dame has in a game, it has been in the special teams. They got a great punt. That's a poor punt. Excellent field position now for Notre Dame.
34-yard punt by Spires. Each team's had it once. Notre Dame picked up 17 yards of field position in the exchange of punts. Ian Book straight back. Ran out of time, had a good pocket, but couldn't find an open receiver. And Cleveland Furl got him down after a 1-yard gain.
Well, that's the problem. They're trying to go with a deeper play action pass. He was looking for Chris Fink on a crossing route, but you just don't have much time against this pass rush. And for the 2nd time, we've seen that ball get knocked out.
After review, the player fumbled the ball prior to being down. Ball was recovered by Clemson. Therefore, the ball will be placed at the -47-yard line, where it'll be 1st down. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 11:50. 1150.
Just the 4th lost fumble of the year for Notre Dame, the 2nd by Ian Book.
Thank you.
Let's see if Clemson and Trevor Lawrence don't try to take advantage of the momentum swing here and go for a deep shot down the field off of play action.
Well, we've seen signs of big game jitters on each side. Obviously, Clemson, the much more experienced team in this setting, having been in the playoff now 4 years in a row. But Lawrence last year watched the playoff on TV, wondering if he might have a chance to play in it someday. Someday arrived 1 year later. Notre Dame showing blitz. It's a quick pop to T. Higgins, and he's into Irish territory. to the 45-yard line, where Drew Tranquil, the leader of that defense, made the stop.
That's just a quick read by Trevor Lawrence. Notre Dame tried to fool Trevor Lawrence. They showed the blitz late. He read it and quickly threw the ball out to T. Higgins for a nice completion.
Gain of 7. Lawrence to the far side, and a nice catch by Amari Rogers, with Troy Pride in coverage and making the tackle, but it's a first down for Clemson at the 41.
Amari Rogers is a guy that's built like a running back. This isn't a great throw by Trevor Lawrence, but the strength of Amari Rogers, he's got that strong running back body, was able to make the strong catch.
Clemson trying to capitalize on the Ian Book fumble. Feaster, second stringer, all he has done in his career is average over 6 yards per carry, second in Clemson history behind Travis Etienne. Junior from Spartanburg.
Yeah, he's averaging only a paltry 5.8 yards per carry this year.
Yeah, a little off. He actually brought down his career average slightly with the 5.8 this year. Etienne is 7.88 for his 2 years at Clemson. Quick set by Lawrence, turned around to see the oncoming rush from Dalen Hayes and got it off to Amari Rogers for a short gain. The players and coaches on each side talk about the poise and calm of these young and relatively inexperienced quarterbacks.
And I think what we've seen on 2 plays from Trevor Lawrence is the strength, because that's 2 times now that Notre Dame has had pressure in the backfield, free rushers that weren't able to get to it.
The Lawrence family in attendance. Amanda and Jeremy here from Cartersville, Georgia.
I think he got his height from his dad. Jeremy's 6'7".
3rd and 7. A blitz by Notre Dame, and the throw off target, trying to get it to the freshman Justin Ross, and it's incomplete.
This is more extra rushers than Notre Dame has shown this season. They have typically been a team that rushes 4. They try to keep everything in front. They are going after Trevor Lawrence in this ball game, and they've been timely blitzes. Clark Lee, the first-year defensive coordinator, good call right there on 3rd down.
Greg Hugel coming to the end of a very interesting career. He wasn't on the team early in his days at Clemson, sat in the stands, walked on, became an All-American while he was still a walk-on, and now he's the 2nd all-time leading scorer in school history. His field goal from 40 yards gives Clemson the lead as they capitalize on the Ian Book fumble. 8:35 to go, first quarter. Clemson, a field goal by Greg Hugel from 40 yards. B.T. Potter will kick off to Chris Fink. Potter will be their field goal kicker next year. He's been a very important part of their team this year. They kick off a lot as one of the highest scoring teams in the country, and more often than not the opponent start at the 25. Book hands it off to Dexter Williams. Nothing doing. Trayvon Mullen, the corner there. Ian Book told us that quality comes from his dad, Rick, who coached him when he was a kid. His dad, 31 years in law enforcement, including 10 years as the leader of a SWAT team. So I have a feeling Mr. Book had a lot of situations that he had to put behind him quickly, too.
Well, that next play mentality, so important as a quarterback, and Ian Book putting it to the test right now.
Williams stuffed again. Well, one of the big stories, even before Dexter Lawrence was suspended, the matchup of the great defensive line, returning all 4 starters this year, all of whom had won All-American honors in the past, against the very good Notre Dame line. Christian Wilton says it's the best offensive line we've played, with massive guards, each of them 6'6".
Well, this run defense has been outstanding.
Blitz off both corners. Book got it off. Dexter Williams through the traffic for a first down and more. Yanked down at the 41-yard line by Isaiah Simmons, a linebacker.
Because this ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage to Dexter Williams, linemen could get downfield. It's a screen off a little route, and those blocks downfield enabled Dexter Williams to elude it.
Without a call, they might have a point. Toss to Dexter Williams, who lowers his head. They got taken down by A.J. Terrell, the other Clemson corner, at the 37-yard line, perhaps the 38 as they spot it now.
Nice little way of getting the ball to the perimeter. The fake inside by Chris Fink held the two inside linebackers, and Dexter Williams was able to get to the perimeter.
Clemson, from time to time, when the opponents hurry, has difficulty lining up. Book on target to Fink, the former walk-on. Tackled by Kayvon Wallace, a safety. First down, Irish at the 27.
Anytime that they can get matchups on the two safeties, Wallace and Muse, I think it's an advantage for Notre Dame. Chris Fink, very much like Hunter Renfro for Clemson, a very dependable receiver on the inside.
Junior out of Dayton, Ohio, Archbishop Alter. Book couldn't find anybody, pulls it down. Dino Babers, the Syracuse coach, called him an eel. He's so slippery. When the Irish handled Syracuse at Yankee Stadium, the eel slithered ahead for, if that's what eels do, for a first down.
Five-man rush, nobody to throw to. Ian Book does what he does really well. He reads it, he makes a quick decision, picked up a nice block by Dexter Williams, and a first down.
Three receivers to the right. They tried the middle. And Todd, I think that is an example of a play they might not have run if Dexter Lawrence is in the middle of that defensive line. You don't try to go right up the middle when Lawrence is in there.
That play right there, the next play on first down, it was a double team on Christian Wilkins, and that's the other thing that we're going to see more of in this game. With the absence of that guy, Dexter Lawrence, more attention will be paid to Christian Wilkins on the inside in the run game and the pass protection.
Again, a blitz. Safety blitz by Muse was picked up. Book throws it away. Good coverage behind that blitz. And that's an important point, because Brian Kelly told us that it was not in the game plan to double team Wilkins until Lawrence was suspended. He said now we could slide our protection in his direction. We wouldn't have done that at all if Lawrence played.
Well, that's why I think the coaches breathed the sigh of relief, and that's no disrespect to Albert Huggins or anybody else, but Dexter Lawrence is a top NFL pick.
And it was Huggins' stand-in who put the pressure on Book. Little screen to Jafar Armstrong, who's played running back and wide receiver for the Irish. He did not get the first down, and Brian Kelly sends the field goal team out.
Really nice tackle in space by the safety, Tanner Muse. He's a physical guy, and that's what he excels at, his tackling and physical play.
So here's Justin Yoon coming toward the end of his Notre Dame career. He hopes he has one more game left after today. Senior from Nashville. All-time leading scorer in the history of Notre Dame football. We asked him about that Thursday. Said that still has not sunk in. He passed Alan Pinkett for #1 earlier this year. Now 367 career points. A tie game on a 28-yard field goal. Justin Yoon kicks off. Darion Kendrick will try it from near the goal line, and he's in trouble. Lost the ball for a moment. It is still in bounds, and Notre Dame has it. Chase Claypool, a starting wide receiver, has recovered the fumble.
Well, we have seen ball security problems by both teams now. Again, when you have a long preparation time for a bowl game, you do live tackling early in your prep. Not much late. And there the ball is ripped out
by Cole Kmet.
Yes.
A tight end. Now you said if there is an aspect of the game where it seems Notre Dame might have an edge, it's in special teams play. The question is, did the ball go out of bounds?
Right. The ball clearly came out. It was ripped out by Kmet, but did it go out of bounds?
It looked like it might have touched the sideline there. We have 50 cameras here today, folks, so we should be able to see it. And that looks like the nose of the football is on the sideline. We zoom in closer.
After review, the fumble touched out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Therefore, the ball will go back to Clemson's football at that spot. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 4:26.
This might might be a test of the kinder, gentler Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
He just wants an explanation right now. Brian Kelly deserves a lot of credit. He has consciously made an effort to be more calm, to yell less often. I know it's hard for a Boston Irishman to do. Born in Everett, raised in Chelsea and Andover, just north of Boston. In his 9th year at Notre Dame. Trevor Lawrence after the play fake. He's a good runner. He gets 4. Tom Rinaldi, what did you hear?
Just a couple of feet away there, Sean, and you could hear Brian repeating the same word: conclusive, conclusive, conclusive. I think he was trying to make the point that he didn't see anything in the state-of-the-art jumbotron here that indicated that it should reverse any call made on the field. He did not think it was conclusive enough to reverse it, but give him credit. He was temperate, certainly, and not the Brian Kelly of old, as you mentioned, Sean.
And I think that is the argument from the Notre Dame standpoint. Pass broken up, intended for Hunter Renfrow. And right there on time, Jalen Elliott, their outstanding second-year starter at safety.
Drew Tranquill told us the play of the 2 safeties has transformed the Notre Dame defense this year. That's the free safety, Jalen Elliott, timing it perfectly. The throw intended for Renfrow. It's a good throw, but perfect timing by the safety, helping over the top in another 3rd down situation.
He's a junior from Richmond. It is a very experienced Notre Dame defense. All 11 starters have at least 10 career starts. 3rd down and 7, 4 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Lawrence on target. Hunter Renfrow, Mr. 3rd down. They call it 3rd and Renfrow at Clemson. He converts.
And that's what Trevor Lawrence is looking for. Who's matched up on Hunter Renfrow? It's Drew Tranquill, a great player, but you see him favoring the inside. He knows Renfrow's quicker than him. He has to protect the inside, and that's an easy throw on 3rd down.
A lot going on in that quarter, but just 3 points for each team. Back with second half action from the College Football Playoff after this. On to the second quarter at AT&T Stadium. Adam Choice, another part of that deep Clemson running back stable. He got across the 41-yard line for 7 on 1st down.
This is an important drive for Clemson. Coming in, this offense averaging 530 yards a game, kind of 3rd in the country in yards per play. Notre Dame's held them to 2.6 yards per play so far in the ballgame.
Trevor Lawrence surveyed the field, checked it down to Travion Thompson, a wide receiver, with a 1st down at the 49-yard line.
Nice patience, and I think that's what Trevor Lawrence is going to have to do. Again, this Notre Dame defense is not one that likes to give up big plays over the top. They're going to force Trevor Lawrence to be patient and read and take what that defense gives him, and that was a good decision right there.
2 receivers bunched to each side. Adam Choice remains the running back. A deep throw by Lawrence. A lot of contact. Justin Ross broke free from it. He's down in the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson.
He's going to be working on Dante Vaughn. That stack formation makes it difficult to get good press coverage, and you just throw it up. Justin Ross, a freshman wide receiver, big, rangy, and Trevor Lawrence knows, throw it up against that single coverage, give him a chance to make a play on a 50-50 ball, and Justin Ross comes through.
52 yards. True freshman to true freshman. Lawrence was the 2nd-ranked player in the entire country coming out of high school in any position. Ross, the #1 player in the state of Alabama. The extra point is blocked. Hugel's kick rejected. He had made 72 in a row dating back to last year. All 68 this year. Jerry Tillery blocked the extra point.
Good snap, good hold, but Jerry Tillery, good timing, got that left hand in and knocked it out in a positive way to end that drive for the Irish.
Clemson leading 9-3 Early second quarters, we welcome you back to the College Football Playoff Semifinal at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in Arlington, Texas. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge. Down on the sidelines, Holly Rowe and Tom Rinaldi. And B.T. Potter's kickoff is a touchback. Notre Dame very tight, dispensing injury information, but Tom will do the best he can to find out what's going on with Julian Love. That would be a big story if he cannot continue in this game. Dexter Williams ahead for about 5.
Take a look at a play from earlier. Julian Love there, number 27, involved on the tackle, and at the end of the play, kind of grabbing, not hard to see. Maybe his hamstring bothering him a little bit, the left hamstring, but again, he is a critical piece to this Notre Dame defense.
Clemson again crowding the line. Dexter Williams trying to find a seam. That'll set up 3rd down and 2. Nolan Turner, backup safety, made the tackle for Clemson.
This Clemson defense averaging, giving up only 2.4 yards per carry. They did not allow a single rusher to go over 100 yards. They kept a few teams, several teams, under 100 yards as a team rushing. Very difficult to run the football against.
They led the nation in yards allowed per rush, and on offense they led the nation in yards per rush. Coaches talk about we need to run and stop the run. Clemson has done that as well as you can. Book off target. 3rd and 2. They went to the air for Miles Boykin, a frequent target, but he's caught just 1 ball. He's been targeted 4 times now by Book.
And that was a play that Ian Book just, he got a little bit panicky. He didn't set his feet. They had the protection that he needed to make that quick throw. The linebackers were blitzing, so the middle was wide open. But he didn't make a good throw to Miles Boykin.
There's Tyler Newsome to punt. One of the team captains. Brian Kelly told us all the players vote on the captains. They can vote for anybody. Newsome was listed on every single ballot. The only player Brian Kelly has ever had anywhere earn that distinction. And Newsome is a punter. Another good punt. 52 yards. 9-3 Clemson. They scored on their last possession and then had their extra point blocked. You get the feeling it's early in the game, but a big possession here if Clemson can open up a little breathing room against the underdog Irish.
Yeah, and Julian Love, one of their leaders, still not on the field. Dante Vaughn. He's a big corner, which is good against some of these big receivers. 6'3", 211.
Throws on the run. Defender nowhere near. Hunter Renfrow. And it's a 1st down for Clemson.
Well, Asmar Bilal was coming on a blitz. He's going to be wide open here, but he runs right past it. He goes for the play fake, loses contain, and Trevor Lawrence makes the nice throw to Renfrow on the bootleg. Bilal was unblocked, but got fooled by the fake.
From the Clemson 41, Lawrence again.
This is a nice changeup by Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator play caller. Travis Etienne is the focal point of the Notre Dame defense. They have stuffed him. So get your quarterback involved in the zone read aspect and see if it loosens up things for Travis Etienne.
Julian Okwara back on the defensive line for Notre Dame. Look out from behind. He got hit as he threw it. And an incomplete pass intended for Hunter Renfrow.
But there is a flag down right over on the sideline.
Holding defense number 8. It's a 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
We talked to Clark Lee mid-season when we had a Notre Dame game, and he said Vaughn might have been their best cornerback in the preseason, and then when the regular season started, it really fell off, and he struggled through a lot of the year, but forced to play more in the absence of Julian Love.
Well, and you have to have a short-term memory to play that position because they're going to keep going at him here as long as he's on the field.
Etienne ahead for a yard. And Todd, that brings to mind what Tony Elliott said to us when he looked at the Notre Dame defense. He said usually when you game plan you look for the weak link. Where's Waldo, he called it. Who can we attack and take advantage of? So Notre Dame doesn't have one of those guys. They might think Vaughn is one of those guys now.
Well, and that's more because of how good they know Julian Love is. I mean, if he's out of the game, go after his replacement.
Short set, and the pass broken up by Drew Tranquil, former safety and rover. Grew into the linebacker spot and likely to have an NFL future. Minute 51 to go in the half. 2 timeouts for Clemson, 3 for Notre Dame. 3rd down and 9 at the Notre Dame 37.
And a welcome sight for the Notre Dame defense. Julian Okwara right here back on the field on his 3rd down pass situation.
They're not in field goal range, perhaps 4 down territory if they make some progress on this play. 4 receivers for Trevor Lawrence. Down the seam, open man, Ross again, touchdown Clemson.
It's single coverage on Alohi Gilman, and he just gets caught flat-footed, and Ross goes right by him. Gilman is thinking he's going to break off the route to try to pick up the 1st down, and Ross never slowed down. Ran the seam route right down the hash, and Trevor Lawrence read it and hit him for the touchdown.
Outstanding 85-yard drive. 6 out of 10 on 3rd down today. That's been big. Greg Hugel the extra point, and Clemson, as we approach halftime, now leads 16-3. 2 touchdowns, 52 and 42 for the freshman from Phoenix City, Alabama, Justin Ross. Minute 44 to go in the half, and an important possession here for Notre Dame. Clemson will get the ball to start the 2nd half. Ian Book gets them up quickly. He's 10 out of 17 passing. Pulls it down. Gets back to the line. Wrestled down by Isaiah Simmons.
Well, another great play by Simmons. This is the guy at safety last year, coming off the bench, had 49 tackles. He led the team with 83 tackles this year. Very rangy and just gets better the more he plays.
Pump fake. Boy, the coverage has been excellent all day downfield by the Clemson defense. He tried to check it down to Tony Jones and couldn't complete to the running back.
And Brent Venables has been able to force a lot of 3rd down and long passing situations. You take the run out of the equation. You turn your pass rushers loose.
Brian Kelly, understandably concerned. He's no longer the play caller when he hired Chip Long last season. He let the offensive coordinator, who came from Memphis, call the plays. This is a big play call for the young coordinator. Wide receiver screen. They were hoping for a lot of run after the catch with 9 to make. They got 3 from Chase Claypool.
Yeah, Dabo Swinney uses a timeout. I mean, he kind of smells blood right here. 55 seconds left in the half.
There's Tyler Newsome to punt. Amari Rogers back deep. Another rocket. A little too far off the foot of Newsome. And now with a little better field position. A short completion from Lawrence to Amari Rogers. Having hit on a couple of long balls. Will Trevor Lawrence fire one deep again? Notre Dame in the regular season gave up only 1 touchdown pass of more than 20 yards. That was against Northwestern.
That's Vaughn on the bottom.
They've given up 2 long touchdown passes today, both by Ross after catch and run. Rogers out of bounds to stop the clock with 17 seconds to go. It is a 1st down.
Yeah, Notre Dame, if you tell them coming into the game they would hold Clemson to 42 yards rushing in the 1st half, they'd be thrilled with that. They've been good all year, as you mentioned, stopping long touchdown passes. Only 1 over 20 yards coming in and 2 today.
1 timeout for Clemson. Prevent defense here for Notre Dame. A 3-man rush and still an open man. And it's Renfro who got walloped. But he's deep into Notre Dame territory now. And Dabo Swinney will call the timeout. They're going to mark the ball at the 34-yard line.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 99 defense.
Wow.
15-yard penalty added to the end of the run, first down.
Another critical mistake by Notre Dame, and it's by one of their veterans, the senior from Shreveport, Jerry Tillery, one of the best defensive linemen in the country.
It's only a three-man rush, so perfect protection for Trevor Lawrence well after the play. An easy call to make on Tillery. The route by Hunter Renfrow was spectacular. The little out fake fooled the safety Gilman, who was victimized on this play again. The craftiness of Hunter Renfrow running that post route against two deep safeties, and the big arm throw by Trevor Lawrence.
They'll run a play. Again, very tentative rush. Lawrence lofts it up to the end zone. Juggling catch made. Was it in bounds for T. Higgins? At least for the moment, the answer is yes. And it's Dante Vaughn, the stand-in for Julian Love, in coverage again.
Well, Dante Vaughn actually got a hand on this ball. He knocks it up in the air. Unfortunately, it goes up in the air and not to the ground, and Higgins is able to snag it. Does he get 1 foot in with possession? Unbelievable concentration by T. Higgins.
Well, fans on both sides are cheering. The Clemson folks think it's clearly a touchdown. The Notre Dame fans are saying that's not a touchdown.
For Dante Vaughn, that's 2 touchdowns he's given up, but he's been in good position on both. He got beat by Justin Ross where he was in good position. That time he actually got a hand on the football, but T. Higgins just did what he's been doing all year, is catching touchdowns near the red zone.
Yeah. They have scored all 3 touchdowns today. Will Sweeney got the hold down. Hugel kicks the extra point. By far the biggest deficit of the season for the Irish. The previous deficit was 10 points in the regular season finale at USC when they came from behind to win. The 3 points, their lowest first half. The previous low was 6 against Pittsburgh in South Bend. They did come back to win that one. But a much better opponent here today. Here's Holly Rowe with Dabo.
Well, Coach, Notre Dame is very good at not giving up explosive plays. So 2 big touchdowns with explosive plays. How much is that the play call? How much is that your 19-year-old freshman quarterback making reads?
Well, I mean, it's you got to give him the play call for him to make the read. So we're staying aggressive. You know, we've just kind of hung in there with the run game. We haven't run it great, but I thought our quarterback run game kind of got us in rhythm a little bit. The drive before last. But, you know, we've gotten some one-on-ones. We've hit some balls over when they played cover 2. We've hit some big balls over the middle. But our playmakers are making plays, and 16's one of them. So he's making good decisions. They gave us a one-on-one right there. But what a drive, 48 seconds with a timeout to go down. That's what it's all about. But, you know, we haven't played perfect. I mean, we've blocked, got a kick block. We dropped a kickoff return. So we got to go in here and clean up some things, and we can't give up on the run game. We got to find some rhythm and balance just to take a little pressure off of them.
Thank you, Coach.
You got it.
Thank you. Tom?
I love Dabo. Most coaches
Thanks,
can't wait
Holly.
to run away.
Appreciate that. Brian, Julian Love out for the majority of that first half. A huge loss. What do you know about his status?
Yeah, he was taken out of the game with a head injury. That's all I was told. So he was not back in the game. And, you know, we got to step up. They made 3 big plays in the passing game, and that's really the difference. We got to coach better. We got to play better in the second half.
No, you hate to give up points before the half. How do you begin to overcome this deficit?
Well, I mean, look, we got to make plays on offense. We've dropped the ball. We fumbled the football. We have not played well enough to be in this football game. So, you know, we've given Clemson a lot of opportunities here. We've got to play better football. So we have nobody to blame but ourselves. We can win this football game if we start to play better football, but we're run out of time.
Appreciate it, Brian. Thanks.
And the new positivity of Brian Kelly will probably be on display in that locker room at the half. The Indeed halftime report with Etienne, Jesse and Joey coming up after these messages. In Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys of the NFL. Clemson with a big second quarter leads Notre Dame 23-3 as we head to the second half. The winner on to the national championship game a week from Monday night in Santa Clara, California. Very impressive performance by Clemson, particularly in that second half, and clearly the injury in the secondary to Julian Love of Notre Dame really hurt.
It really hurt because Notre Dame did a great job taking Travis Etienne out of the game, and Clemson said, okay, if you're going to do that, we're going to put the ball in the hands of our young quarterback. And I'll tell you what, that Dabo Sweeney touch chart is perfect because he spread the ball all over the field. I mean, Justin Ross 5 catches, Amari Rodgers 6 catches, Renfro 3, Higgins 3, spread the football around and really started to attack that defense down the field.
Trevor Lawrence 3 touchdown passes, the college football playoff record for a semifinal game. The previous record was 2 in a semifinal held by 6 others. He threw for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns in the half, and they'll get the ball first, as we said. Justin Yoon to kick off. Darion Kendrick back deep. It's a touchback. On 1st and 10, the fake to Etienne. Coney, the linebacker, blitzing, and it pays off for Notre Dame. Jason Ademilola is in there as well. Ademilola is a true freshman, number 57.
There's Coney here. He's been flirting with it. He shows blitz. Sometimes he comes, sometimes he doesn't. Runs right through Etienne. That forces Trevor Lawrence to step up in the pocket. And good pressure that time. Heinisch and Coney with the good play.
A loss of 7. Off the hands of the tight end, Mylan Richard. And that was very nearly disastrous for Clemson. Richard, the nephew of the great Herschel Walker.
All kind of comes fluttering out of there. Not typically what you see from Trevor Lawrence. A little bit high. And now 3rd and long. And for Trevor Lawrence, take care of the football, make a good decision. The deep dig routes have been open on 3rd down if Notre Dame chooses to play zone.
Flushed from the pocket. Lawrence chased again by Ogundeji, and he threw it away.
Well, and Khalid Kareem, who was out a play or 2 ago, back on the field and part of the guy giving chase there, and a nice stop on 3rd down.
Todd, is there any psychology at work right now? We read all week, all month leading up to the game. Notre Dame had a very rough recent history in BCS and New Year's Six bowl games.
Right.
They've lost the last 5, all of them one-sided, including that national championship game. This team has consistently said that's in the past. We weren't there for any of that. But is that a factor to overcome tonight psychologically for Notre Dame, do you think?
I don't think it is, because like you said, it's a completely different team. I mean, they're being outplayed, and we said all along that Clemson and Alabama are clearly the 2 best teams in college football, and they're getting beat by a better team right now.
42-yard punt by Will Spires. A rough start to this possession before they run a play, a false start. Dexter Williams gets that back and then some as he turns the left corner for 11, banged down by Isaiah Simmons and A.J. Terrell.
Boy, you see the speed of Dexter Williams on that play, because the guy in pursuit, Isaiah Simmons, runs a 4.3 and covers a lot of ground with those long legs, and he was not able to get the right angle on Dexter Williams.
He's the fastest player on their team.
Yeah.
And he's 6'2", 235 pounds. 40.5-inch vertical. Book running out of time, threw it behind Dexter Williams.
I'll tell you, the coverage downfield has been really good for Clemson in this game as well. I mean, there have not been guys running open. In the past, the 2 teams that threw for a lot of yards against Clemson, Texas A&M early in the year and then South Carolina late, there were some miscommunications, some guys out of position, giving up big plays. None of that today. They have really been in the right spots. Brent Venables has them dialed in correctly.
3rd down and 4. They crowd the line of scrimmage. Williams trying to run through it. He does. Breaks a tackle and gets stopped by J.D. Davis. It's a 1st down for Notre Dame across midfield.
Nice block by the left guard. Watch 69 Aaron Banks gets the block on Huggins, and Williams sits in right behind him. Tanner Muse, the safety, is unblocked, and he's not able to get Dexter Williams to the ground. Good tough run by number 2.
time for Book, one of the few times today, and he's on target. Miles Boykin yanked down by Tanner Muse, and a gain of 20 for Notre Dame.
Nice little combination route. Watch the tight end hold the corner, Terrell, and opens up a hole between the corner and the safety. And Ian Book gets the ball to Boykin. Boykin, the leading receiver in the game, his 4th catch now.
5-man rush, and Book again forced to take it down and scramble. He can't get away. Austin Bryant ran him down from behind.
See, Clemson has so much depth on the defensive front. They start this possession with backup guys on the field, and now when they get in scoring territory, they bring their starters back. Austin Bryant beats 2 guys. I mean, that's a running back and a tight end. Austin Bryant beats them both and gets the sack behind the line of scrimmage.
There's been no drop-off in the front of that Clemson defense without Dexter Lawrence suspended for today's game. They have won the battle against this Notre Dame line, and that continues. Book at the last minute tried to get rid of it as he got planted again by Austin Bryant, and the officials are talking about this.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback's knee was on the ground prior to the pass. 3rd down.
Now, Austin Bryant should not be coming free on a rush. Brent Venables with a little different look that time, and one of the best pass rushers on this team gets a free shot at the quarterback.
And his knee is down before the ball's out of his hand.
Clemson, true to who they've been, 15 times in this game they've rushed more than 4 guys. They like to put pressure on the quarterback, especially on 3rd down.
And it is affecting Book noticeably more antsy than usual. His pass intercepted, picked off by Nolan Turner with some blockers, and knocked down by Chris Fink at the 44-yard line.
Well, Turner is the safety. He's going to be sitting right in here. It's only a 3-man rush this time. So they're dropping 8. They don't pressure. They play zone. And Nolan Turner sitting in a safety spot with eyes on the quarterback. Reads Ian Book.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 7 of the defense removed his helmet while still in the field of play. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. 1st down.
That is the first career interception for Nolan Turner.
First unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game.
Third down and long. Clemson expecting pass. Play before they blitz. That time they played zone, and Turner with the big interception.
He's the son of Kevin Turner, played at Alabama, was a teammate of Dabo Swinney. Kevin Turner played in the NFL for the New England Patriots, died of ALS, and when he was near death, Dabo Swinney promised him he would take care of his son. And Turner is in a great place to be surrounded by supportive and loving people at Clemson, that's for certain. Travis Etienne, the ball carrier, and Jameer Jones made the stop.
And what Notre Dame has to be aware of right now and guard against is defensively, they're obviously a little fatigued, a little frustrated. This is when Travis Etienne has the ability to break a tackle and break a long run. They've had him bottled up the whole game.
Lawrence ran very close to the line of scrimmage, and in RPO, the completion to DeAndre Overton near the 1st down. Here's Holly Rowe.
A huge development for this Clemson offense. Their leading receiver in this game, Justin Ross, has been in the injury tent for about 5 minutes. He came out of the game holding the back of his right knee. I also noticed that they have taped up his right ankle. He came out of the tent, has been trying to put some weight and pressure on it over on the sidelines with calf races and running. But also T. Higgins is over on the sideline trying to run out a little something right now, a little bit hobbled. So down 2 receivers at this moment.
Play just short of the 1st down. Dabo won the penalty right in front of him for late hit. Etienne explodes through the hole. One man with a chance to stop him, Jalen Elliott, and he will not. Touchdown, Clemson, 62 yards in a blur.
Well, for whatever reason, their leading tackler, Tavon Coney, goes to the wrong spot. He's going here. Tranquil's going here. Nobody there. And all Travis Etienne needs is a little space, and he's got the speed to get it to the end zone. We've been saying it. He's a home run hitter. They've bottled him up, but not on that play.
High snap. Will Sweeney got it down, and Greg Hugel knocked it through. Travis Etienne has now set the single season rushing record for Clemson. We'll tell you more about that when we come back. 30-3, the Tigers with 2:04 to go in the third quarter. Single season school rushing record, 1,564 yards now for Travis Etienne. The previous mark was 1,527 by Wayne Coleman in 2015. His touchdown run, the longest play given up by Notre Dame this year. Here's Holly Rowe.
Last year at this time, Travis Etienne was a freshman, and he was not at his best in that college football playoff semifinal. His offensive coordinator, Tony Elliott, met with him in January and said, look, man, you faded on me through the end of that season. You weren't mentally and physically prepared. And Travis admitted that that was true. So this year, he's dedicated himself much more to the weight room. He's been able to devote more time to being in shape, being mentally and physically prepared, and more importantly, protecting his quarterback and being on top of all the pass protection stuff. Etienne, now the single season record holder, he has not faded on Tony Elliott.
Indeed, he has not. Breaks tackles, as you said, Holly, blocks better, and Tony Elliott even joked with us that Travis now will walk into some meetings with a very tight shirt, kind of proud of the body that he constructed in the offseason in the weight room.
Well, I think the other thing, and all that has definitely benefited him, but again, the way they rotate their backs, they keep him fresh. That was only his 12th carry in the football game.
Dexter Williams up the middle for a first down, chopped down by Nolan Turner. The Etienne family here from not far away in Jennings, Louisiana.
Yeah. Jennings. Yeah, go ahead.
Small town. There's Donetta. Big part of her son's life. Great football fan. And a part of his decision to go to Clemson. He was the last player to commit in his recruiting class to Clemson. He thought about it for a long time.
I think Donetta said that she thought there were going to be 100 family members here. A lot of his family is from the Houston area. Jennings is a small town off of I-10 right between New Orleans and Houston. A lot of his supporters here. And again, his game against Alabama did not go well in the Sugar Bowl last year. Much different result today.
And Williams just buried again. They have been dominated at the line of scrimmage, and right now Notre Dame being dominated by backups. Xavier Thomas and Justin Foster, both second stringers.
Xavier Thomas has so much suddenness. I mean, he's going to be the next one. When these guys go on to the NFL, he's going to be the next great pass rusher that they have. Very fast, one of the faster guys on the team, and he plays defensive line.
We'll say he's a second stringer. Would he be a second stringer on any other team in the country?
No, neither would Albert Huggins. I mean, they've got guys that would be starting a lot of places.
Here comes a blitz after Book. He stands in, but had to get rid of it quickly. Jafar Armstrong. Simmons thought he took the ball away, but the officials blew the play dead at the 39-yard line, well short of the first down by about 10 yards.
Brent Venables, he wants every play. They have really played well today. Well schooled. He does rip the ball out. Is there any, do they call forward progress? I mean, he's not down to the ground, but this is a great play by Simmons, ripping the ball out.
This might be another one of those excruciating developments for the Fighting Irish. Brent Venables.
Yeah. He can't advance the ball, but he certainly looks like he got possession of the football.
The Clemson coach called timeout to challenge the ruling on the field. Unfortunately, the ruling on the field was forward progress, which is not reviewable. Therefore, Clemson will not be charged a timeout.
And that's the key to that.
Yeah.
If there was forward progress ruled by the official, replay's out of the equation.
But as you said, you make your own breaks, and clearly Clemson has been the much better team today. So they started on the ready for play. They end the quarter before the punt snap. We'll be back with the fourth quarter of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic right after these messages. Notre Dame's hopes fading fast. Down 30-3 as we go to the fourth quarter, and Tyler Newsome has had a tremendous game in what is likely his last game. Great hustle by Gilman. He couldn't save it. And what a career it's been for Tyler Newsome. We talked earlier, captain.
Yeah.
Got every vote from his teammates. Brian Kelly said no player's ever done that, and he's a punter who spends a lot of time by himself at practice. Beyond, Lynn J. Dixon was the ball carrier, his first carry. Here's Chase Bryce. When the story of this season is written, whether or not they win a national championship, he will be mentioned prominently. The start of the year, the third string quarterback. Came in relief of Trevor Lawrence in the 5th game of the year against Syracuse and rescued the Tigers when it looked like they were about to go down to defeat. He gives it to Dixon, who can fly.
We were there. Trevor Lawrence started the game and was injured.
So they were down in the final 3 minutes. He threw a bullet for 20 yards on 4th down and 6 under 3 minutes to go to keep the drive going. Ran for 17 yards, and then Travis Etienne capped what really was a championship caliber drive. They went 94 yards in 13 plays to come from behind. They were down by 10 in the late stages against a team at the time. I think people didn't realize how good Syracuse was. Julian Love out there breaking up the play to DeAndre Overton. That was the week they made the quarterback change, and Kelly Bryant, when he heard the news he was being replaced as a starter, left the program. There was a lot of turmoil.
Yeah.
And Lawrence got hurt late in the first half. Bryce, a little shaky, understandably so, when he first got in. Found himself at the big moments.
Yeah, he made a couple huge plays down the stretch, and really that was the turning point for this Clemson team, because the next time we saw them a few weeks later against NC State, Trevor Lawrence was back. He was fully established. All the drama was gone, and that team just started to take off and started to play offensively at a whole new level. Defensively, they had been the same all year. Offensively, they went to a whole new level, but they don't get to this point without what Chase Bryce did in the fourth quarter of that Syracuse game.
Everybody around the program knows that Tim Beret, longtime SID, Clemson historian, still involved very closely in the program, said without question that was the player of the year. When we talked to Hunter Renfro, he said in recent years, even with the success, that's a game we lose. We lost at Syracuse last year. We lost to Pittsburgh the year before. So who knows if they had one loss this year, if they would have gotten into the college football playoff. Alohi Gilman, who's battled all day, broke up the pass for DeAndre Overton. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, Sean, you're talking about that game against Syracuse, and I saw something in that game that I think was the defining moment of this Clemson season. Is they were down, as you said. Chase Bryce had come in 3 and out. They were struggling, and in that moment, a senior on this team, the seniors are 53-4, and it was Christian Wilkins who came down to the offense that was struggling and said, "Lean on us," meaning lean on the defense. We've got you. We can support you. They created turnovers. They limited Dungy in that second half and allowed Chase Bryce to come in and have that game. These senior leaders saved that season.
Good punt by Will Spires, and excellent coverage as well. Trayvon Mullen right there on the catch. Back with more from the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic after these messages. 15-yard completion booked to Boykin. Gets Notre Dame out to the 26, and now still doing their best, that defensive front. Justin Foster with Furl now watching from the sideline. Even without Dexter Lawrence, they are still the best defensive line in the country.
You know, there's Christian Wilkins talking to Dexter Lawrence. No greater leader on this football team than Christian Wilkins. And just, we were talking about Chase Bryce and talking about the quarterback change to Trevor Lawrence and that week that we were there. And one story that we found out about that I think is one of the greatest stories about Christian Wilkins is Thursday of that week, after Kelly Bryant had made his decision and left the team, Christian Wilkins took Trevor Lawrence to breakfast and just wanted to just kind of see where his head was, make sure he was okay. And he felt comfortable that Trevor was in a good place. And for Trevor, it was such a confidence thing for him, knowing that, okay, this guy's got my back, you know, and the defense is behind me and the change. And again, after that game, This team took off and achieved new heights, and Dabo Swinney says this is the best team that I've coached ever at Clemson, and it really turned for the better after that Clemson game.
Great leadership. Pass incomplete after the pass to Wisher was broken up by Nolan Turner. That one for Dexter Williams. A lot of great leaders. Dabo said 26 different players got votes for captain, but without question the leader on the team is Christian Wilkins, who earlier this month received the William Campbell Trophy in New York City at the annual National Football Foundation banquet. It's a combination of football skills and academic achievement. He graduated in 2.5 years. He's a 3-time All-American. Drew Tranquil of Notre Dame was a finalist for that award. And he said when he met Wilkins in New York City, he couldn't believe how impressive he was. Yeah. He said he's a superstar, but he is as regular and down-to-earth a person as you'd ever come across. From Springfield, Massachusetts, overcome a lot of adversity in his life, including the shooting death of his grandfather in an accident.
And very cool to see. Not only did they come back and it pay off in the success, but they all stayed healthy. They played every game. It's just a great story. And I don't think there's anybody, and Dabo Swinney told us this, nobody that epitomizes a student athlete and maximizing the experience of being a college football player like Christian Wilkins. Everything that he's been a part of on the field, off the field. He's a substitute teacher in a kindergarten class. Did a little bit of everything during his time at Clemson and built wonderful relationships.
Darian Rencher had a carry. Lynn J. Dixon, the ball carrier. And that goes back to what we were talking about the culture.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times coaches try to give us spin in our meetings. They talk about we're establishing this, that, and the other thing. But when you go to Clemson, we've been there several times now.
Yeah, it's real.
It's
genuine,
real, and it starts
authentic.
with this man who became the head coach 10 years ago. A lot of Clemson fans didn't like it. He was named the interim coach after 6 games, 2008 season. Took over for Tommy Bowden. Had never even been a coordinator. Was the wide receiver coach. Terry Don Phillips, the athletic director, believed in him, and that belief has been rewarded big time. Chase Bryce, a long and tough run of 18 yards. And the Clemson fans still here loving it. There's very little green still in the seats here in Arlington.
Well, we talk about Trevor Lawrence, but this guy was a highly recruited, highly regarded kid coming out of high school too. Chase Bryce, redshirt freshman, played at Grayson High School in Grayson, Georgia. He won a state championship there as well.
Drew Sweeney is on the field. Number 81, he has been. Bryce runs again. He's the other football playing son of Coach Sweeney. Tony Elliott might want to get him a catch if he really wants to.
Add somebody to the touch chart, right?
Drew's back on the sideline now. Dabo Swinney said he owes so much of his success to the great Gene Stallings, who was his coach at Alabama. Gave him a chance. Dabo was a walk-on, overcame some very difficult times of his own as he was growing up. Gene Stallings put him on scholarship. He said that was huge for me. And then when Dabo graduated, he had a job in the hospital administration world. Had no interest in coaching. He said, I just went by spring practice one day. The team was out there, and Coach Stallings came over and said, Dabo, you should get a master's degree. I have a graduate assistantship. You'll start in July. Dabo said, oh, they're getting assistant coaches with the Gatorade. Dabo said, Coach, no thanks. I have a great job, $35,000. I'm about to get married and start what I want to do. And Gene Stallings said, Dabo, I don't think you heard me. You need a master's degree. I have a job for you. You will start in July. And he said, I couldn't say no to Gene Stallings. Yeah. And a career was launched. He said, after a week as a coach, I knew I wanted to coach, and he's becoming one of the all-time greats.
He's outrunning the Gatorade right now.
He'll have a chance to earn his second national championship as head coach. And the third in school history, the Gatorade bucket with more than 10 seconds to go. And Dabo Swinney is with Holly Rowe as Clemson wins the Cotton Bowl Classic to head on to the national title game.
Coach Swinney, you just about outran the Gatorade, but you didn't. How was that bad?
That might be the coldest ever. But it was sweet. It was sweet. I'm really proud of our team. Appreciate our fans. It was an amazing environment. Congratulations to Notre Dame. What an incredible year they had. But, man, I'm going to tell you what. Our guys, they got it done in the trenches. We kind of hung in there. We finally got a little run game going. But the big plays on offense, the sacks on defense, created a couple turnovers. Big play by Nolan Turner here in the second half. But, man, this is what we came here to do. And, you know, this senior group just won their 54th game. And they're going back to their third national championship in 4 years. And, man, we're so excited to have the opportunity to go to California, represent the ACC, and play another great opponent. But we're going to celebrate this tonight. All the glory to God, no doubt about it. This is just, it's almost unbelievable. But we did it, and we're here, and proud of my guys.
You did it. You had adversity. You know, you lose Dexter Lawrence. How did your team absorb that? You have so much depth on that defensive line. How did they absorb that big loss?
Well, we're not about individual here at Clemson. All right. I mean, you know, we're bigger than any coach. We're bigger than any player. And players come and go, coaches come and go. But our culture, it stays the same. And we've got a lot of good players. And, you know, we just treated it as an injury. Really, obviously, disappointing for Dexter that he didn't get a chance to be a part of this, and Zach and Braden. But, hey, Big Huggy did a great job, and Niles and Jordan. I don't know how many sacks we had, but we were able to get the type of pressure we need. We stopped the run game and just made them uncomfortable all night. And we bent a little bit, but we kept them out of the end zone. And then our guys just made some great plays. And number 16, Trevor Lawrence, was the moment wasn't too big for him. He had a heck of a game, and I thought Justin Ross was the spark early in the game that got us going, and we put it together in the second half.
Coach, you made a tough decision mid-season about number 16, Trevor Lawrence. In hindsight, how has that paid off for your team now?
Well, it was a hard decision because I love my guys, and it's hard when you know that it's the right thing and there's going to be some disappointment. But, you know, that's my job, is to give the team the best chance to win. And, you know, we're going back to the national championship. We're 14-0, and we wouldn't be where we are without number 16. He's had an amazing year, but he's got an unbelievable supporting cast around him, starting with that offensive line.
Trevor Lawrence threw for 327 yards and 3 touchdowns in this Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Time now to send you down to the field. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, thank you very much. Congratulations, Clemson, on advancing to the national title game for the 3rd time in 4 years. Dabo, I know this is a special night for you to present the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic trophy. Here's Chairman Carl Ice of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic.
Great game, Coach. Congratulations. On behalf of our board of directors and staff, we'd like to present you the Field Schofield Trophy for winning the 83rd Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Good luck next week.
Thank you so much.
Christian, what does this moment mean to you coming back for another season at Clemson?
Hey, man, I mean, this is really special. You know, this group of guys that I go to work with every day, this group of seniors, man, they put their all on the line each and every day. We got great leadership on this team. It's truly amazing. It's truly special. You know, this is what we set out to do. We set out to be our best, and I mean, now we're going back to the national championship, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's the most serious I've seen you all night. You were having fun all over the field. To the idea that you fell short last year in the semis, to go to the national championship, was that the goal all season?
I mean, well, the goal was just to be the best that we can be, and if it meant going to the national championship, then that's just a result of being the best we could be, and I'm just happy we were able to do it. I mean, we got the best fans in the nation. They always come out, they show their support. I mean, I know they'll show up in Cali, and I mean, I'm just looking forward to next week.
That freshman quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, when you watch him play, what do you see?
He's okay. He's all right. He's above average player. No, he's pretty good, man. He's special, and it's just fun to watch him grow. and how he commands the offense and does things like that. I mean, you know, it's just fun to watch.
Christian, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, sir.
We'll see you next week.
Yes, oh, yeah.
Clemson returning to the national championship game. Next week, they'll face the winner of Alabama or Oklahoma. Sean?
One more time.
For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, Tom Rinaldi, and our great crew, Sean McDonough, so long from Arlington, Texas.